Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We are at the Singapore International Film Festival, and today we are talking to the director of the Wasteland, Mr. Bahrami, and Mr. Fala, who is in Mumbai, is going to be translating our conversation. Welcome, Mr. Bahrami, and thank you so much, Mr. Fala, for joining us.
خیلی ممنون. منم سلام عرض می‌کنم خدمت شما و مردم خوب سنگاپور که تو این وضعیت سخت جشنواره برگزار می‌کنن.
I thank you also and all the organizers and the people of Singapore who in this trying times are organizing such an event.
Yes. We are very lucky. So I will just ask you a few things of mine, and then I have a couple of questions from viewers. When I watched the film, I did not do any Google or any research. I just watched it purely. And the first question I have is, what year is the film set? If there is a year.
واقعیتش اینه که ما تمام تلاشمون رو کردیم که فیلم مختص سال خاصی نباشه. من جمله بگم یا کامل بگم شما ترجمه بفرمایید؟
یه دو سه جمله بگین من ترجمه.
بله. جواب این میشه آقای فلای عزیز. فیلم تمام تلاش ما این بود که مختص دقیقاً سال خاصی نشه، ولی میتونه این فیلم در برهه از زمان پیدایش نفت و گاز تا الان داستانش روایت بشه.
It was our endeavor that this film should not belong to any particular era or any particular time. However, it could be said that from the time oil was discovered up till now, during this time, any time this film could be set in that period.
I see. No, that's very interesting because I was watching it and I almost forgot about I was lost in that minimal space. Like you said, it could be any time. And then my wife said, they mentioned something about the price of petrol going up. It must be because of the sanctions. And I thought, I didn't even think about it. So is there not then any mapping with a political time in Iran's history of the film?
میگم که آقای فلا مسئله اصلی اینه که یکم من این قضیه رو زمانش رو بازتر میبینم. تو خاورمیانه مشکل اساسی خاورمیانه نظر من از پیدایش اکتشاف نفت و گاز در این منطقه تا الانه. من دوست داشتم که همین چیزی که ایشون میگه هر کس بسته به تجربیات خودش تو زندگی این رو به یک تاریخی وصل کنه و قطعا چیزی که خانم ایشون هم فکر کرده میتونه یکی از گزینه‌ها باشه.
In my view, the problems in the Middle East, they start from the discovery of oil. However, this film has no particular era or particular period in which we had in mind. So the interpretation that probably your wife had while taking the film, it could be one of the interpretations of the film.
Sure.
We did not have any particular time set in mind.
Right. And connected to that, the other thing that she noticed actually was the narrative of the Kurds working with the Iranians. Now, for us who don't know so much, we have a general sense that there are some issues and problems there. Is there a special significance of showing a work environment where both groups are working side by side? And if it's not set in any specific time, is it set in any specific place?
به طور کلی آقای فلا توی کردها در 3-4 کشور خاورمیانه پراکنده هستن: ایران، عراق، ترکیه، سوریه. و همیشه بین این قوم این اقلیت کرد توی کشورهایی که زندگی میکنن با اقلیت‌های دیگه درگیری وجود داره. خب یکی از همون کشورها هم ایرانه. درگیری در حقیقت ما درگیری به اون صورت که تو ترکیه مثلا میبینیم یا عراق وجود نداره، ولی همیشه این تفاوت‌های فرهنگی قومی تو ایران ما رو دچار مشکل کرده در فهم همدیگه. این هم از اونجا میاد. در حقیقت ما تو ایران کردها و ترکها رو در کنار هم داریم که این برخورد فرهنگی و نپذیرفتن همدیگه این مشکل رو به وجود میاره و در مشاغل و کار و یه جایی مثل کوره که با هم هستن هم این مشکلات.
آقا آخرش میتونید یه بار دیگه تکرار کنین که آخرش که گفتین؟
میگم در کشور ما هم به خاطر اینکه این دوتا قوم وجود دارن، قوم ترک و کرد، و تفاوت‌های بزرگ فرهنگی چه در نگاه و باور و مذهب چه در مثلا زندگی روزانه‌شون، برای همین وقتی این دوتا قوم دوتا اقلیت به هم دیگه برخورد میکنن مشکلاتی بینشون به وجود میاد که این تو فیلم هم هست.
He is saying that the Kurds and the Iranians, we have to keep in mind that the Kurds are present in 4 different countries: Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, and they are a minority in all these countries. So even in Iran, there are these. The film has tried to show, because of the various cultural differences, the religious differences, they have tried to show the kind of, you can say, the exchange between these two communities that are there. So the film has tried to bring up the kind of exchanges or the kind of confrontations that happen between the Kurds and the Iranians.
Yes. Shanu is a very, very strong and very striking character in the film. Yes. So I will now read some comments and questions from people who have watched the film. But I have also sent it to you in the chat box just so you can have it in front of you. Yes. So the first question is from a viewer in New Jersey. And this is the question. It is not a question, it is really a comment, a compliment, right? Lutfullah shows us a glimpse of a true master in form. He shows us that masters are born, not made. His spirit was untouched by circumstance, no greed, no corruption, just love amidst the most barren of circumstances. Brilliant direction captures the tender moments of this man's big heart, his grace, his quiet wisdom, and his surrender to the universe. And I will add a small part. It shows, and this is, I think, the important part, it shows that the essence of humans, when devoid of external influence, he did not know a world outside the kiln, and in the end, it is where he went. However, in that space of birth and death, his purity and integrity as a human being who knew nothing of the world was much higher than anyone else. This is from Archana in New Jersey. She really enjoyed your film and doesn't have a critical question but wanted to convey some of these points to you.
بله همین جوریه. من در زمانی که فیلمنامه رو می‌نوشتم به این فکر می‌کردم که ما احتیاج به یک شخصیت مستری که ایشون میگه داریم، آدمی که به هیچ جایی تعلق نداره، از هیچ کسی زاده نشده و ازش هم هیچ چیزی زاده نمیشه در حقیقت. و در تاریخ ما نمونه‌های اینجوری زیاد داشتیم که میان خیلی هم مثل اسم خودش به مردم لطف دارن ولی فهمیده نمیشن و دوباره به تاریخ سپرده میشن.
Said while I was writing the screenplay, we had this kind of character in mind, and we were writing this kind of a strong character. And as his name suggests, his name is Lutfullah. Lutf means kindness, the kindness of God. So we were writing this, and we kept this in mind that he is a strong character that doesn't get much affected by the circumstances around him.
Yes,
just like his name, he exudes kindness all around him.
Yes, very powerful. Now, a lot can be said about the direction of the actors, but for the sake of keeping the questions focused, one observation that this viewer made is Lutfullah's voice is very beautifully done. When he goes knocking from door to door to door, telling them something, he has a voice. But when he comes to Sarwar's door, his voice changes, right? It becomes a different voice because he, has a certain relationship with her. So the question is, how do you direct voice in actors? Was he naturally like this, or is this something you have to work quite hard at?
نه، صدا که صدای اورژینال خود بازیگره. این بازیگر نقش لطف‌الله یکی از توانمندترین بازیگرای حال حاضر سینمایی و تئاتر ماست. ولی توی هدایت ایشون برای اینکه لحن‌های مختلف رو انجام بده، خب یه راهنمایی من به ایشون می‌کردم و قرار بود وقتی به سرور میرسه، از اونجایی که خب یک علایقی و یک عشقی به سرور داره، به هر جهت ما مردها اینجوریم دیگه، وقتی به معشوقه میرسیم صدامون، تونش، وضعیتش فرق میکنه و ایشون هم به خوبی این رو اجرا کرد.
Said the voice is actually the voice of the actor himself, who is a very famous actor of contemporary cinema in Iran. And he says usually when a person likes someone and a person meets someone, his voice automatically kind of tones down. So that's what he had directed the actor to do, that when he reaches the house of his beloved, he'll automatically kind of mellow his voice and he will, you know, kind of say it in that manner. Yeah.
Yes, it was very beautiful. I mean, in general, that's how it works, but it's very beautifully done. That voice, the change in voice, very beautiful. Okay, I'll ask the next question from a viewer. This is from Nishtha Jain from Mumbai, actually, where Mr. Fala is right now. So she says, ask him, the director, about the use of repetition as a device. Another thing that stayed with me is the dialogue, the boss is always broke. Is it based on some particular story? If not, what was the inspiration to set it in a brick factory in a medieval industry? Was it to explore the basic tenet of industrial capitalism?
من ممنونم که از هند ایشون فیلم منو دیده، خیلی خوشحالم. در رابطه با اون تکرارها، من چیز کلی که میتونم بگم اینه که ما میگم از زمان 100 سال اخیر در تاریخ معاصر، به خصوص خاورمیانه و کشور من ایران، دوچار یک تکرار در حقیقت تکرار در تغییر حکومت ها، تغییر آدم هاست، اما این تغییر هیچ تأثیر تو زندگی آدم ها نمیذاره. این برای همین تکرار رو من آوردم، به خصوص 50-60 سال اخیر و دوران کودکی خود من. مثلا تو مدرسه یادمه همیشه مدیر مدرسه وای میستاد و عین کل 9 ماه سال رو حرفای تکراری میزد که هیچ کدومم اجرا نمیشد. این از اونجا میاد. سوال اول میتونم شما بگید.
بله. He's saying that in the past 100 years in the Middle East, even in Iran, there has been a lot of changes. Many governments have come, many systems have come, many systems have changed, many processes have come and gone. But the condition of the people has mostly remained the same. So this repetition, which Nishta points out to, is trying to show the coming and the going of the different eras and the different systems, but the situation of the people remains the same. Here he points out to something which he has experienced in his life himself, where he said that whenever we used to go to school in the next term, the teacher used to repeat some very old instructions again and again, which was every term, every new term, they had to hear the same instructions. And life would move on as usual. So that's what the first question is about. Coming to the second question.
Okay.
بله آقا. سوال دوم.
جواب دومم میتونم بدم اگه میخواید.
بله سوال دوم. جواب دوم.
جواب دوم اینه که مکان کوره آجرپزی همچنان در ایران هست و هنوز آجر به طور خیلی محدود تولید میشه. من اونجا رو بر این اساس انتخاب کردم که ما یک تاریخ 7000 ساله پخت آجر داریم تو ایران و این یه جورایی برای من سمبولی از سنت‌هایی است که در این سالها بوده و ما به واسطه نشون دادن این نشون میدیم که پایبند نبودیم به سنت‌هامون و ما در حال گذار هستیم از یک سنت به مدرنیته و این وسط‌ها داریم دست و پا میزنیم. و اینکه خود لوکیشن هم بر اساس اینکه چون فرم فیلم تکراره، چیزی که تولید میشه روزانه هزاران هزار قطعه آجر یک شکل و تکراری.
یعنی ببخشید آخرش یه ذره قطع و بس شد و نشنیدم.
یعنی خود لوکیشنم با توجه به اینکه خود لوکیشنم فرمی از تکرار رو تداعی میکنه، فیلم من درباره تکراره. این تکراره توی خود چیزی هم که اونجا ساخته میشه به نام آجر که روزانه 2-3 هزار شاید 1 میلیون قطعه آجر رو یک شکل کارگرها تولید میکنن. میخواستم این تکراره در لوکیشن هم باشه.
He is saying with regards to the second question where she talked about the brickwork industry and why exactly he selected brickworks is because Iran till today they in a very contained, in a very limited amount or area, they do make a lot of bricks. They have this industry. It's still active. And the historical aspect of this is Iran was involved in brickworks since the past 7,000 years. It's a very old industry in Iran. So he wanted to kind of show that connection with the old civilization, as well as the device of repetition, as she pointed out earlier, because the production of bricks is all about products that are made repeatedly, or you have millions of bricks, same size, same color, same thing. So since he wanted to show that kind of repetition in his film, as she correctly pointed out to, that's one of the reasons they have selected a brickwork or a kiln as a location.
Okay, thank you. I have one more comment from a viewer, but it's not a question, it's more a comment or a compliment, right? This is from South Africa, Anindita. I love the way the director portrayed the starkness of a grim reality in his choice of monotones, death of an age-old building tradition, which is building the bricks, with the smile lines, individual faces of despair, individuals merging with tradition and becoming an embodiment of that. Is there, maybe this is her question, is there then never a sign of hope of integrating or reviving some life? This made me very sad and it left me thinking.
چرا واقعا اگر یه جمله هست یک فیلمساز بزرگی میگه که اگر ما امید نداشتیم به تغییر اصلا فیلم نمیساختیم و میشستیم تو خونه و منتظر مرگ. همین که فیلم میسازیم امیدواریم به تغییر. ولی در رابطه با خود لطف‌الله و شرایط فیلم من نه. برای اونها امیدی وجود نداره. در حقیقت این امید رو من کارگردان و من بیننده دارم که کاری بکنم که این بلاها سر همنوع خودم نیاد. این رو در حقیقت ما یک تلخی روی پرده می‌بینیم و امیدواریم که این تلخی رو بتونیم در زندگی واقعی از بین ببریم با کمک هم.
It says a very famous director says that if there was no hope for change, then we would not make films at all. The fact that we are making films is that we are hoping for changing the realities and changing the current situations. But in the case of Lutfullah, this is a grim reality. There is no the life of Lutfullah that has been shown on the big screen. It's a grim reality that there is no hope. So there is a kind of bitterness in what is being portrayed, and that is what is the thought and the thought process behind it. So that when a person is seeing it, he is seeing a bitter reality.
Yes, that's sad. Okay. I have one very, very specific small question and a very general and vague question. The specific question is, why the 4:3 aspect ratio? And the general question is, and this is really general, but a lot of us have been watching Iranian cinema for some years, and the question is simple. How do you always or so often manage to make these extraordinary films? Is you have a community that you talk amongst each other? What is special in the incubation that happens in Iran that you consistently make these extraordinary films? We're just curious as viewers.
اینکه ناخودآگاه وقتی فضای دو طرف محدود میشه، فضای 4:3 نسبت به قاب عریض فضای محدود، یک فشاری رو به فیلم و کاراکترها میاره که من این رو دوست داشتم باشه و نظر بصری همونجور که این کارگرها در سختی هستن روی پرده ما این فشار رو بیننده. دو، فضای 4:3 فضایی که شما رو ناخودآگاه یاد یکم گذشته میندازه و زمان اینکه فکر کنید فیلم مال همه الانه رو از شما میگیره و ممکنه شما رو ببره به یه خورده گذشته و به اوایل اختراع.
He says with respect to the question, the specific question of the aspect ratio 4:3, he said it's a really very good question actually, and he says for two reasons I have used this aspect ratio so that I can use it. Number one is it kind of creates a pressure. It kind of creates a tension in a limited frame. So the tension in the story, the tension in what he in the narrative is kind of supplemented by the kind of the frame that he is using. He wants to hold it. He wants to hold the characters a little, close and maintain that tension. This is one point. The other thing is that when there is a kind of a tight environment in which you're showing the story, it kind of takes you to the past, and the audience kind of feels that it is a story about the past. And since this story is something, he wants to take you in the past. So that is also one of the reasons of selection of the 4:3 ratio. Coming to the second question.
نه، ما ایرانی‌ها واقعا خیلی اهل اینکه تو فیلمسازی هم فکری آنچنانی بکنیم نیستیم و معمولا از تجربه‌های خودمون تکی استفاده کنیم. اما اینکه حرف ایشونو قبول دارم، واقعا چرا ما اینقدر ایده‌های مختلف رو انجام میدیم، دلیل اصلیش آقای فلاح من فکر میکنم به خاطر این تاریخ معاصر کشور ماست. ما یک زندگی، مثلا نمیدونم چیزی که من درباره سنگاپور خوندم اینه که یک زندگی آرومی در جریان و مردم زندگی عادی میکنن. ما واقعا به عنوان یک کشور بسیار بسیار ژئوپلیتیک منطقه خاورمیانه حداقل در 100 سال 200 سال اخیر یک زندگی آرومی رو طی نکردیم و یک زندگی مثلا نرمالی نداشتیم. ما از صبح که بلند میشیم تا شب، این منظورم الان نیست، در این 100 سال اخیر هر روز با یک چالش بزرگ دست و پنجه نرم می‌کنیم. پس ما هر شب که می‌خوایم بخوابیم یک چالش بزرگ برای حل کردن داریم که همین میتونه تبدیل به فیلم بشه.
Sandeep, he's saying that with regards to the general question that why do Iranians come up with such film, and is there a group or something where they sit and think? He said, no, we don't have a group where we incubate such stories. However, it's all about individual experiences that each of these directors have, and the answer to this question could be in this that they share a common contemporary history that is full of challenges. And he's not talking only about now. He's talking about the past 100 years. So the geopolitical challenges which Iran has faced through is not very normal, especially in the last 100 years. And it has gone through a lot of challenges, a lot of issues, a lot of problems which they have to face on a day-to-day basis. So when a film director, he sleeps at the night, sleeps in night, he is thinking about the challenges that he's going to face the next day. And this is probably the reason could be that they come up with such extraordinary stories.
Okay. Thank you very much. We should wrap up. I'm not a jury member, so I am free to say that I wish you the best in the competition, and I hope that your film is awarded. And what is next for you, Mr. Bahrami?
من موقعی که این فیلمو می‌خواستم بسازم، این که در حقیقت موضوعی که در 3 فیلم قرار که بهش پرداخته بشه، در حقیقت همین مشکلات کارگرها، که فیلمنامه بعدی من هم تقریبا نزدیک به همین فضا در یک لوکیشن خاص دیگه میگذره و اون هم زندگی چند کارگر رو در حقیقت به تصویر در میاره و فیلمنامه آماده است و حالا منتظر یک سرمایه گذار هستیم که بیاد جلو و ما بتونیم به بعد رو بسازیم. نزدیک به همینه موضوع، اما با یک قصه های فرقی.
He saying that he has another film on the same lines, which tackles the issues of laborers and workers. It's a series of these 3 films, and this being the 3rd part of that series. And he has completed the screenplay of the film, and they are waiting for producers and investors to come ahead and come forward in this film. And it is tackling the same issues in a different manner, same issues of the laborers and the workers in a different manner and a different location, of course.
Okay. Well, I hope you find the resources to make this film, because we will only gain from watching your beautiful works. I thank you from the Singapore International Film Festival for participating, for sending your work in. And Mr. Fala, thank you for so patiently translating everything for us. Good luck. Good luck to you, sir, and to you too.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.